Now we're going to move over to someone who is already a fantastic player in their own right. Jimmy Butler is the head of trade talks. Chris Mannix of the Vertical Podcast, or said on the Vertical Podcast, I believe he was with the Yahoo Sports, said that there is serious interest for the Bulls trading Jimmy Butler. Well, you guys are Bulls fans. You guys love the Bulls. I'm still, riding where my fandom's going to go. But
We're going to sell your fandom one day.
We will.
We're going to sell it.
What are your thoughts on Jimmy Butler, just from a fan perspective? What do you think the Bulls should do from just a fan perspective and not from a future perspective? Do you like the idea of Jimmy Butler being traded?
No, I hate it. I hate it. But that's because I see Jimmy Butler as the face of this franchise and not Derrick Rose.
Unfortunately, what we think doesn't matter because it's what Garpax thinks. And if they decide it's best for the franchise to move on with Derrick Rose still as the key, then that's their choice. And I don't agree with it, but I think they need to decide one way or the other because this 1A shit isn't going to work.
Well, and you got to think about this. Why is Jimmy Butler in trade talk rumors? Because who did he come out and who he has come out and publicly criticize? The new head coach.
Yeah.
Usually when you do that, people go, well, you know what? And when I say people,
You're
I
not
mean
going to last
Garpax.
long.
You're not going to last long. Look at Joakim. We're not expecting Joakim to be around much longer because he's become annoyed with Hoiberg, but that's because of the whole Hoiberg situation with Noah.
But also Noah's expendable because Noah gets hurt consistently, and Noah isn't the defensive player of the year that he was.
And the one thing I will say that's good about Noah is that it's Noah's locker room. Like if you want to beat on the locker room, if you want to win over the locker room, you win over Joe.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. The problem, though, is it's Jimmy Butler has been such a good player for the Bulls, but at the same time, this team has underperformed on an epic scale. This is a team that should be in the playoffs, and not as a let's say if we can inch out an 8 seed. No. We should be a 3 seed at worst. This is a team that has 4 former All-Stars on them. I mean, come on. You have a absolutely low. Actually, if you count a healthy Joe, then 5. Every single player on the team had been an All-Star. So the problem is they can't perform. They're often injured. This is no longer a franchise that knows what they're doing. What they need to do is just go clean slate. Okay, we're either going Jimmy or Derrick, and then just move forward. Because Derrick, the problem is, has no trade value. So Jimmy can get you picks. Jimmy can get you some youth in there. He can help turn that roster over. No one else on that team has that potential right now.
I hate it because it's just one of those things where Jimmy Butler to me is, like I said, that face of the franchise. And I feel like, and it comes from both fans and Garpax, I'm going to throw them into it too. People are they are romanticized with Rose, and I get it. Hometown kid, we got you number 1 when we shouldn't have got the number 1 pick. You're going to lead us to a title. I'm more on the realistic side right now, and Derrick Rose is never, I'm going to say it right now, Derrick Rose will never win the Bulls a title. We will never win a title with Derrick Rose at the point.
All right, now step into the shoes of GM Garpax. What are you actually doing? Are you going to make this trade for Jimmy Butler?
No,
if you are going to make it, where would you go and what would you try to get return-wise?
I would absolutely trade Jimmy Butler because like I said, he's the only player with value on this team at this point. So you go to the Celtics, the team with the most lottery picks, most picks probably in the first, it's them or the 76ers. And right now, I know the Celtics have tried to make that play for a big player. So the question is, we all assumed it was like, it's probably going to be, a big man down low. But think about this. This is a team, we just talked about this during our draft preview. They could use a shooting guard. They could use a guard who could take over games, and that's Jimmy Butler. So I'm going to go, what are we looking at? Are we talking 2 picks in the first round and a bench player? Are we talking 3 picks in the first round? Trying to find equal value for Jimmy Butler is not going to be easy.
You could possibly do 2 and Avery Bradley because, Avery Bradley would kind of be useless on the Celtics because I think he's a starter in the NBA, and if you're going to have Jimmy at the 2 and then you're going to have Isaiah at the 1. And, Avery Bradley's kind of similar to Jimmy Butler. They're both great defensively, and they both can, really, they could score when you need them to. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's way better.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler,
there's a huge gap, but I think Avery Bradley it could be a player for the Bulls that they can really build around, or not build around, but like
use it until they fill in. Yeah.
But the thing is, I think Jimmy Butler is that main piece that you need when you're rebuilding. You're rebuilding around Jimmy Butler. You make this Jimmy Butler's team. Jimmy Butler has that personality where he can be the leader of the team. I think calling out the coach, if you're not happy, then say it. Just be a leader. Be a person that is not afraid to say what you want. Because when you want a person to be a leader, you want someone who is not afraid to say what is on their
Right, but do you necessarily want to come out in a post-game interview where you're frustrated? Obviously, I mean, I don't know if there's a right place to talk shit about your coach, but I feel like that was just like him blowing off steam. I mean, it's okay to be pissed off at your coach because, like I said, they've underperformed. Hoiberg doesn't seem to have the impact that they all expect him to have. And everybody's like, well, maybe we shouldn't have fired Thibs, huh?
So would you keep Rose and keep...
I would go with the route.
Hoiberg?
I would have to go with the route. If you're going to keep Hoiberg, you're going to keep Rose. You got to move Jimmy Butler. You're going to lose a lot of talent, yes. But what you can do is rebuild around these new players coming in. I'm not saying Derrick Rose is going to be the key to this team winning a championship down the road, but I'm saying he's going to be our best player right now, and we're going to take these new players and mold them into this fantastic new core of the Bulls.
I think in a city like Chicago, you need immediate results, and obviously if you're trading away or getting you're trading away the whole team and keeping Jimmy Butler,
trading away
or you're keeping Jimmy Butler, or you're trading away Jimmy Butler and keeping everyone else.
You're entering rebuilding mode if you trade Jimmy Butler.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna take longer to build this team where Jimmy Butler can still keep this team in an 8 spot, or maybe still be fighting in the East.
Do you know how pissed off Chicago is that we're fighting for a spot in the playoffs with 5 goddamn All-Stars on this roster?
Yeah, but if it's just Jimmy Butler fighting for a playoff position, then people won't be that pissed off. And plus, I think if you trade guys and try to move them out, you build it around Jimmy Butler, who's still developing and is only 26 years old. I think that is the better move for the future. And I think that's the better move just from a standpoint of this is going to keep your team competitive, even though it's a lower side of the competitive side.
Now we're looking at free agency to try to fill those gaps, and we've done that before. We've tried going with we're right on the tip of this.
How about we
Let's
actually
go
draft
big.
well too? We even drafted
Bobby Portis
wasn't a huge as big of a miss that I thought he would be.
No,
but
he wasn't.
Bobby's still great.
Name some of the drafts that we've hit it big. The Bulls haven't been a
Jimmy
team
Butler
that
in
hits it
2011
big in the draft often.
Doug McDermott's been a pretty good pick. Doug McDermott has shown
he's
that
still growing.
Yeah,
the question was under Thibodeau, he didn't have enough playing time. So.
And he's shown that against the Raptors he can beat them. And
Raptor Slayer.
With me, I just feel like the best route is you keep Jimmy and you say, you know what, this is your team. And the sad thing, and Dave has mentioned this on the other side, the sad thing with the Bulls, if you choose to say, Jimmy, this is your team, you don't really have anyone else.
You're going to part ways.
So you're going to eat it and move on from Noah. You're going to sadly eat it and move on from Rose next year. The only one that I can think of that may have any little bit of trade value would be Taj.
Yeah, but we floated Taj on so much. No one's going to give us value for Taj.
Sign and trade for Powell might be
Maybe.
That's the only option left. But
if we want to do that,
but
Paul, I don't think is going to even come back.
The way I would rebuild this team is, Jimmy, it's your team, and we're going to rebuild it through the draft. Because let's be honest, it would you're
going to rebuild through the draft, but we don't even have a fantastic pick. We're fringe lottery right now.
Well,
then it's one pick.
We did do the draft lottery, and the Bulls did get the number 1 pick.
Yeah. Okay. We've done it once.
So
I'll give you that.
I think
no. Think about this. We have no center. We have no power forward.
Bobby Portis.
I'm sorry. We have Bobby Portis
and Nikola. Nikola can be a power forward.
All right. Fine. But we're losing Noah. We're losing Gasol, and we're saying we have to part ways with Derrick Rose
and Taj.
But if we draft a Tyler Ulis, and Tyler Ulis playing under Rose for a year and then can take that starting job hopefully in his sophomore year,
versus getting 3 draft picks and Avery Bradley to fill in for the one missing spot of Jimmy Butler.
It's either 3 draft picks or two
plus Avery. Either way, I think I would take that over rebuilding around Butler with nothing next to me versus having Derrick Rose, who is still... He's played really well. I mean, he hasn't been healthy consistently, but he's played really well for us for the second half of this season. So I think using him as that one-man leader, he's for this ownership, he's for this coach. Why not?
It's a gamble.
Have them all drink the Kool-Aid.
I'm just saying. Final thoughts here. I think it's a gamble with D Rose because of that prior injury history. It's always like every time he drives to the basket and he's gonna go and he's gonna land. It's like
Tyler Ulis, though. That's the thing.
Even if we trade,
but then you're gonna have Ulis and Rose, and Ulis is gonna be kind of wasted
we
away
need
on
a
that bench.
six-man anyway.
But who's going to be your shooting guard? It's going to be Bradley, but Bradley is a huge dip there.
Well, yeah, with Bradley, but you can go. Hang on, the Celtics. If they get a top 5 pick, we get Buddy Hield. If they have a top 10 pick, we could get any one. There's like 3 or 4 shooting guards out there who are not top tier, but like they're all in the same range. It's Buddy Hield up top as far as pure scoring, and then everybody else is in a 4 group.
But then we're in the same situation as a team like, well, okay, I'm not going to say the same situation because they're way worse, but
We're
have
not
a similar hole, though. If we trade Jimmy Butler and get all these other players, who's the alpha?
It's Derrick Rose still.
No, Derrick Rose is gone in my mind. After 2017, he's gone. Who's our main alpha looking forward?
One of these picks will be our main alpha or Bobby Portis.
Okay. Final thoughts, yes or no to Jimmy Butler being traded?
I think this organization needs to move on and trade him.
Yes or no?
At this point, no, you keep him.
I agree. I say no and fire Hoiberg because I think Hoiberg and this management
you can't.
No, you have to do that because you can't keep Jimmy Butler and Hoiberg together.
What has Hoiberg done? Hoiberg's made this team
It's
worse.
been 1 year.
I don't
is
care.
it really
I don't
Hoiberg's
see-
fault or is it Garpax's fault?
I think it's Garpax's fault, but I also think it's Hoiberg's fault as well.
But they've done the same shit that happened in Cleveland where now they're running plays out of Thibodeau's playbook. They're going back because guess what? Jimmy can't run plays out of Hoiberg's playbook. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. So they're taking their old coach's playbook because he doesn't respect the new coach enough.
I think it's just I think you need to get rid of Hoiberg. And I talked about this earlier. I don't think Hoiberg's that good of a coach. I mean, you need to see something where you're
There's been very little impact from him.
Yeah,
I agree.
it
But if
just seems
management's going to stick with him, then they need to get rid of they need to get rid of Butler.
I think you need to get rid of one or the other. I agree with Dave there, but I agree with Ricky that Butler needs to stay.